For the unit circle questions, I just want to go through these on the review and make sure that you know how to do each of the skills. First skill is that you can draw the angle. Second skill is you can figure out what the reference angle is. All of these will be reference angles that we know, 30, 60, or 45, or on the axis. That you know the ordered pairs that go with those, and that you can then find which trig value it is, cosine, sine, tangent, whichever it asks for. So let's go through number one. Number one says we're looking at 210 degrees. So when I go to grade these, I want to see that you know where 210 degrees is. So if we start at the initial side, we're going around the circle. This gets me to 180. I have to go 30 more. So there's my angle. The reference angle is, always remember, from the x-axis. So the reference angle is 30 degrees because I went 180 plus another 30 to get to my terminal side. So I have a triangle. I know the angle is in the third quadrant. Reference angle is 30, so when I go to grade that, I'm looking to see you're in the right quadrant. You know the reference angle is 30 degrees. And now you need to know the ordered pair that goes with 30. With our special right triangles, for 30 degrees, we're going to go over radical 3 over 2 and down 1/2. So we're going to go negative radical 3 over 2 because I went to the left, and down 1/2. So my ordered pair is negative square root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Now you can always check this. You can't obviously when you're taking your quiz, but if you're doing the homework and you want to check to see if you're right, you can look at 210 degrees on the unit circle I gave you. At 210 degrees, there's my x and there's my y. And that's what I got here. So now that I just have to answer the question, so the ordered pair is worth a point. Now the question says, what's the cosine? So you need to know the cosine on the unit circle of the angle is just the x value. The sine is the y value because the radius is 1 on the unit circle. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so it's going to be y over x. And then you need to know the reciprocals. The secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. The cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine. And the cotangent is the reciprocal of the tangent. Alright, so with this one it asks for the cosine. So cosine is just your x value. So in my ordered pair, my x value is radical 3 over 2, negative. That's my answer. So I would look for points in the right quadrant, right reference angle, the correct ordered pair, and the correct answer. Alright, so let's look at 2. 2 says 315 degrees. So I start with my initial side. There's 180. I keep going. 270 gets me to here. I don't want to go all the way to 360, so there's my angle in the fourth quadrant. The reference angle, again, is from the x-axis. What is that angle right there? So if I look at that angle in standard form, I'm looking for that reference angle right there. If I went all the way around, that would be 360. So I'm deciding what's 360 minus 315. And I should get 45 degrees. So my reference angle is 45 degrees. So now when I think about that triangle, my x value in a 45 degree angle is radical 2 over 2. My y value is radical 2 over 2, but since I'm going down, my y value is negative. So correct quadrant, correct reference angle, the correct ordered pairs. I want radical 2 over 2 for x and negative radical 2 over 2 for y. This one is asking for the tangent. Tangent is y over x. So I take my y value over my x value. Now to simplify these, we've talked about that really you know that those 2's will always cancel out because you're just multiplying by 2 over 2. So now I'm left with negative radical 2 over radical 2. Now you might think you need to rationalize the denominator, but really anything over itself is 1. So I'm left with negative 1. So with this one, it'd probably be worth a couple points. One, that you knew this was y over x, and then one that you simplified it correctly. All right, so let's look at 3. 3 says cosecant of negative 60. So now I start here. Negative angles, I go in this direction. I need to go 60 degrees. So my reference angle is going to be 60 degrees. So I'm in the fourth quadrant because I went negative 60. Reference angle is 60. The ordered pair that goes with 60 is 1/2. and negative radical 3 over 2. Again, the x is positive, the y is negative. You need to know the ordered pair that goes with 60 degrees. So I've got the fourth quadrant, reference angle, ordered pair. This one is asking for the cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal of the y. So now I know that if this is the y value, reciprocal just means I need to flip the numerator and denominator. So the cosecant is going to be 2 over negative square root of 3. Okay, all I'm doing is taking the square root of 3, bringing it down to the denominator, and the 2 goes to the numerator. That's the reciprocal of y. So with this one, from what we did last chapter, we have to rationalize the denominator. So I'm going to get negative, and then I have 2 radical 3 in the numerator. It doesn't matter where you put the negative. You can put it in the numerator or denominator. So I have 2 radical 3 up in the numerator, square root of 9 in the denominator, which is 3. So there's my final answer. So again, 1 point that you're in the fourth quadrant, reference angle, ordered pair. You know that cosecant's the reciprocal of the sign, and then you can rationalize the denominator. All right, let's look at cotangent of 240. 240, there's 180, 270 is down to here, so I don't want to quite go to 270. So my reference angle is here. So the difference between 240 and 180, because again, this got me to 180, I went how much more to get to my 240, so I'm just going to subtract and I get 60. So my reference angle of my triangle is 60 degrees. We need to know the ordered pair for 60. It's going to be a negative x and a negative y. So negative 1/2, negative square root 3 over 2. I want the cotangent. Cotangent's the reciprocal of the tangent. So instead of y over x, I'm going to take x over y. So I'm going to take the x value over the y value. The 2's cancel out. I have a negative over a negative, which is a positive. I have to rationalize my denominator. Square root of 3 over 3. So again, I have to know it's in the third quadrant. I have to know the reference angle. I have to know the ordered pairs that go with 60 and realize both the x and the y are negative. I need to know cotangent is x over y. I need to realize that those 2's cancel out, and then I need to rationalize the denominator to get my final answer. All right, let's do 5. 5 is secant of 150. So 150 degrees starting here. It's not quite 180. So my reference angle would be this angle again with the x-axis. So I know that I would have to go 30 more to get to 180. So my reference angle is 30. The ordered pair that goes with 30 is radical 3 over 2 1/2. And I know the x is negative and the y is positive. Secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. So it's a reciprocal of the x. So this one's similar to the other one we had. We need to rationalize our denominator. 2 radical 3 over 3. And that's still negative. Okay? So just take the reciprocal of the cosine. And then the last one is negative 420. So now a negative angle, we go in this direction. This would get me to negative 360. So how much more do I need to go if I already went 360 degrees? How much more would I have to go? I'd have to go 60 more in the negative direction. So it's going to end up in the fourth quadrant. So I went 360 in the negative. I have to go 60 more. So the reference angle is 60. My ordered pair was 60. 1/2, radical 3 over 2. My y is going to be negative because I went to the right and down. I want the tangent. Tangent is y over x. So I'm taking the y value over the x value. The 2's cancel. So I have negative square root of 3 over 1, or just negative square root of 3. So I have, in the fourth quadrant, the reference angle is 60. The ordered pair that goes with that. Tangent is y over x, and then it simplifies to negative radical 3. So those are the skills you need to be able to do. Draw the angle, figure out the reference angle, it's one that we know, figure out the ordered pair, and then know all of these trig things, how to set up the ratio for each of those trig things.